What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the correct layout for Market Watch. In the previous video, I was still on my stream setup. I didn't realize it. I'm rusty. I just got back to streaming after that long series of unfortunate events. But I wanted to start today's Market Watch off with a little lesson. While I am not a financial advisor, I don't know the future of card prices, where they will go. Anybody telling you that it's guaranteed to go up, skyrocket in price, you better get this card now, there's an asterisk next to that every single time. There can be, especially with the collectible market, waves where you see a huge spike in price and you could have got so much more and it comes back down and it never really hits that again, or years later it goes past what anybody thought it would. Speed Duel Dark Magician Girl. John called Dark Magician Girl the Charizard of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a holographic, original art, tournament pack. Listen to all those buzzwords. Dark Magician Girl, and the Speed Duel stamp doesn't take too much away from it. Look at the Battle City Secret Rare Speed Duel box and how well a lot of those singles are going. We'll actually cover another buyout on one of those in this video. And this graph recently, oh, it's up good. What do you think about this card, John? I think that it sat most of its life at $12 and came down really bad recently to the point of its original $3 price a lot of people got in at long ago. In fact, this was bought out to $20 not once but twice in its life. So when we're looking at this card and on the front page not a single copy is above $6, where the foreign copies even sold out at $6 to $8 on TCG Player, I'm looking at a lot of people who are long-term just another day in the office, the collectible market's in shambles, but here I am happy with my stack of Dark Magician Girls. Whenever it comes to a card like this, you've got to question a couple things. How many different versions of this card is too many? And I don't think this is the straw that breaks the camel's back on that, but a lot of people's Dark Magician Girl binders are getting thick and maybe they've started on a second binder or they're done. Like, people are actually getting Blue Eyes fatigue at this point. You can see Yu-Gi-Oh! Twitter complain about Blue Eyes a lot, but then they make a new Blue Eyes figure, everybody pops off. I'm pretty happy with it even so. Sometimes Blue Eyes in a different form can be way better. Like, I remember the Animation Chronicle one, that's the next topic, actually really getting a ton of traction in the community. So when I look at this, I do think long-term, probably pretty good. But you've got to remember, whenever Pokemon had its huge boom, a lot of people went to other card games they knew nothing about. I would never touch a collectible I truly didn't care about. If I get a collectible, I want to get one, I wouldn't be mad keeping and displaying or doing something with later. Like, that's why, do you want this many Dark Magician Girls, or did you really just want this many in case something happened? Now, the counter argument is, well, with this many, you can maximize profit if it pops off. Well, also, you're maximizing your gamble because it's still gambling, as clearly shown here, even with such a guarantee as this one that I would have thought would long-term probably stick above $10 and never fall under 10. But here we are today. Now, speaking of Animation Chronicle, there is a reprint for Access Code Talker, and I'd be way more excited if there wasn't ramping short print in the history of Battles of Legend. Now, Japan did switch to Animation Chronicle for the marketing where the US has kept Battles of Legend, but it's not like a Duelist Pack situation where Legendary Duelist continued on over here, yet it got run into the ground. Animation Chronicle is the true successor to Dragons of Legend, Battles of Legend, so I don't mind them keeping the name here. In fact, when you look at Access Code Talker, it's been horrendously short printed before in Gold Series, and the original was actually the first time they switched core sets to the new ratios of no shorting, but added 2 secret rares to where there's now 10 secret rares a set, so out of each box having 2 secret rares, there's only 2.4 of each secret on average pulled per case, and then clumping on top of it, but you're less likely than more likely to pull a playset of any secret rare. Brothers of Legend itself actually was raised up there. I remember TCG Player bonus bucks back actually spiking this at one point, and then it came back down. People bought a couple more of them, and whenever you see that year-long point come up, it's usually make it break it for a set like this, where it could either really spike the set or ends up cooling down. And on the top end, Dragoon's not the most desirable Starlight in the world, and when you look through the set, also the Astral Starlight ended up failing very bad compared to the first ones. Droplet's now been reprinted into the ground. Magician Souls got short printed again. Nibiru reprinted in the ground, but this is an OG kind of secret. And there's tons and tons of penny stonks abound, as is pretty common with these kinds of sets. I have a special place in my heart for the first Battles of Legend, where it tried something different than pretty much the rest of them. And the set's been a roller coaster since, with some of the craziest, highest prices. So should I buy the seal, John? I feel like it'll still probably be pretty good. This line has not had a single failure in it. But again, as I just said, there's no guarantees. And Konami has very much fallen on product this year to where what seemed like guarantees have fallen flat on their face. So our questions are, what will be special in here? Access code talker's a good start. What other reprints, penny stonks, what actual backbone is there? And then what special chase? Will it be the Blue Eyes? That would be a really good start, but it needs something else along with it. And what will that be? Will it be another Astral Rare? I don't think so, but we'll see what they actually have in store for this, and if it is Blue Eyes. Now, you can still get this over at Big 3 Deals. Code What'sGood5 for 5% off and to support the channel directly. Makes the cases even cheaper. At this point, a lot of the stores are sold out. Also, with Big 3 Deals, if you're missing your Megaton cases, they had 3 pallets get allocated wrong from their distro, is what I was basically told. So when it comes down to it, that's a lot of freaking cases. Most of you all have gotten delivered properly from Big 3, but if you're having any problems with that, feel free to DM me on the channel Facebook page or my Twitter with your order number, your email, and the exact contents of your order if you would like me to forward that to the owners. Also, try to reply in the email chain of the original email that was your order confirmation. If you make a new one, some of those have been getting lost. I've definitely heard you in the comment sections during the streams. Some of you all are very rightfully so worried about your Megaton orders. So if you have a missing order in that vein, do go ahead and message me on either of those platforms, and I'll try to forward it to the owners for you. Metaverse Secret Rare is bought out. I told you we'd get back to Speed Duel Battle City. This card is way up in price, and you can probably guess the reason. Oh, 3, 2, 1. Mystic Mine! Yes, people are excited about Mystic Mine since the ban list. This one spiked insanely, and people are actually spending the price still. What are you doing? But yeah, this card is up big. If you have a copy, it might be time to sell it. Demise of the Land, though, is also up really, really huge, and the ban list not hitting these cards. People are just scrambling after them, trying to make people angry at locals and get the haha reaction, or they truly believe in the deck, and if you do, good for you. Fish the deck. It's spelled goatee, but it's fish. This reveals that it's getting more support, and it got pictures. That's as far as I know. People seem very excited for that, and pictures are enough to spike the price. I remember the cycle with Spirals. History repeats itself. Spirals had to be saved by the OCG support. We stopped kind of getting OCG support that's new for decks like these. But yeah, when it comes to this deck, people seem excited, and the prices have been spiking / copies have been getting bought out. The Megatons have a little movement in the lower and the top ends budging here and there. Dark Magician Girl down a little bit. Maybe the OCG buyers got most of theirs. Droplet, Prosp about where they've been. Blue Eyes also down a little. Ash about where it's been if you click on it. Diviner's up a little quantities. You know, people are going to be playing this in tier element, but what's actually moving is all the branded stuff. We covered that branded in the red was short printed and there's not a ton of them, but also a Luber now solidly over $5 in less than 50 listings. I've been seeing this deck all over Dueling Book. A lot of people are on branded during this format, and it's interesting that shift that people in the rogue section are highly looking up this deck. Now, it's not necessarily cheap though. Guardian Chimera spiking huge in price, as have a lot of the cards that are not reprinted for the deck, and you can see here that yeah, most of them are $54, $55+ right now. Tactical Masters feels odd to me because the Trap Mommy deck is good long term. Runic is seeing meta play right now, and it's pretty expensive as it should be, but people just aren't going after the packs of these due to terrible pull ratios, and the EVP estimated value pulled hits a little bit above these, but then you're facing like all the work, shipping it out, that kind of stuff, so it's not really worth it to open in mass. And when we're saying in mass, we're talking 30 cases, 40 cases. It's not worth the time and investment investment to put into it for people to open it, so they'd rather just sell the sealed despite how good the set really looks. Collector rare sets just don't hit there. But yeah, a lot of the runic stuff almost feels too cheap to me because of that hesitation to open product, and how many people have been hitting me up like asking if they should get their runic stuff now. There's so many people interested in the deck, either for fun, rogue, casual, or competitive. A lot of people really like the deck, so I might get that sooner than later. Of course, using that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. And finally, I wanted to touch on one more thing in the rainbow structure deck. Oh, John, Market Man bad, he made this card go up in price. Well, it's also on the cover over here. If I were to guess the card that would go up the highest percentage if a reprint didn't happen in a year, I would guess Foolish Burial Goods, and I guessed that when it was a quarter, and now its market price is already 45 cents. Remember when it was like down over here? Already it's in the top 4 section, and Ash could 2 to 3x over time without a reprint, but that's also a greater dollar amount and not dealing, you know, with shipping as many copies. This card, when it comes down to it, most versions were $2 again when it got its reprint, and you can see it's starting to rebound already and people look it up. But there's so many people willing to sell this at 50 cents and not wanting to hold on. So again, if you're buying into it, you're taking that gamble. 1, that it doesn't get reprinted. 2, that it does find enough rogue interest / meta interest for people to be, you know, buying it out on the other side and for them to disappear from a structure deck that seems more abundant than I might have thought at first. I thought this would be grossly underordered, but there's tons of people lining up to sell this relatively cheap despite the staples inside that you could just chop this up for. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. Let me know what you think about the access code Talker reprint. Are you already just preparing yourself for a short print and you're like, oh, here we go again? Or are you genuinely excited about this set? There's certain aspects you want to see what reprints are in here, what the Starlights are. Let me know how you feel about this one. Will this be the first failure of a Battles of Legend, or another home run, especially if that Blue Eyes is in there? That was such a hot conversation topic. Thanks for watching, everybody.